Hello, fabulous superstar Sagittarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. And a limited number of consultations are available with me or with Andy of Wise Ass Astrology over the course of this summer. New dates have just been released of availability. You can learn a lot more and book your reading now. Links are below. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Now, we have a very big move of Jupiter, your ruling planet, changing signs. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. But I want to lead with the fact that we are going to have a full moon in your sign on the 11th of the month. And that's really the first important thing that's set to take place now. That full moon really is key. Normally you get one full moon per sign per year, and this is your moment. Having that full moon in your own sign speaks volumes to an understanding of self and who you are. The full moon will be speaking in a conversation of supreme harmony with Mars. That brings with it so much energy, excitement, even electricity as well. There's a real boost of energy available to you at this time. And it's about knowing who you are. It's identity, priorities, who you know yourself to be, what matters to you most and first. It's what's most immediate for you that's lit up and energized at this time. At the very least, it's a time of self-honesty, but much more likely it's a time of adventure, of bringing forward things within yourself that you really like, a feeling as if you know yourself and you know the next best choices for you. Your heart is on the sleeve, as they say at this time, and it's mostly for you to see what you really feel about key matters in your life and how now you want to give that much more of your energy towards what feels like it resonates as truly important to you. Outside of that full moon, which is beautiful energy, for the most part though, what we're going to have this month is a focus on a particular part of the sky. And this is a part of the sky that has to do with profound change, truth, transformation, regeneration, and wealth. And quite literal wealth can be a part of this, like being able to access resources, fundings, credit cards, loans, mortgages, benefits you qualify for. That's the kind of energy we see here. But what we also get here is, in this part of the sky, a deeply transformative energy and a deeply honest energy. Now, this is where you are set to have big blessings for just over a year to come. And that is because on the 11th of the month, Jupiter moves into this part of the sky. Your ruling planet changes signs. And as Jupiter moves into this part of the sky, now overall, the trend is great, right? Jupiter brings blessings, opportunities, options, which is a great thing. But at least at the beginning and at least in the first weeks, it may not feel that way. And that can be really hard. And I do want to take a moment to invite you to affirm your faith in yourself, in your own resourcefulness, and knowing that when we have such strong financial energy, it means that the money you need is there. Sometimes you've got to engage some spiritual lessons as part of it coming together for you, but it can and will come together for you. So let's talk about what makes this energy challenging right out of the gate before it is that we pass that more challenging first couple of weeks. Once it is that we get into next month and beyond, the energy of Jupiter gets a lot easier to access and a lot more inclined towards its more abundant application. But this month, it's a lot more about restriction and delusionment. And I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. But a key characteristic of this month is these squares to Saturn and to Neptune. Saturn and Neptune both are moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with what you want in your heart of hearts in every area of life. What's going to make you happy? What brings you joy? It has to do with the children in your life and you feeling like a big kid. It has to do with feeling lit up on a heart level. And it has to do with creative fulfillment as well. And so we have here Saturn and Neptune both having newly moved into this part of the sky. Saturn gets you honest. It gets you real. Neptune has you looking at What is illusion? What is delusion? And what is soul? What is spirit? What we're going to have this month, first, Jupiter on the 9th changes signs, moves into this very deep consequential part of the sky, and on the 15th and 19th, respectively, will square first Saturn and then Neptune. Now, the fact that on the same day that Jupiter squares Saturn in particular on the 15th, we're going to have this other energy there as well. And that other energy is of Uranus square Mars. So that tends to be an energy that feels like it brings with it surprise, but also a lot of tension, a feeling of a jolt that you really didn't expect, seemingly out of nowhere. And for you, given that Mars is in a worldly part of your sky, this could be a challenge to what it is that you believe about the world, but it could be quite literal as well. If you are doing some long distance travel, if you are right now engaged in a matter having to do with higher learning or legal matters, well, you may have to pay attention to one of these matters very quickly at this time. But for all that, you're very aware of where you have power, where you don't, and the limits of your power as well. Given where Jupiter is moving into a part of the sky that has to do with financial agreements and financial settlements, if you're involved in a legal matter that has anything to do with that, this could be where there might be a need for some conclusion that comes about very quickly. And you're going to have to reconcile with whatever the outcomes seem to be, whether you think that they are fair or not. And again, I'm sorry to say, but that could be a possibility here. But outside of that, it could also be that you are trying to access resources or something that you think is going to be fun for you, that your heart calls you to do. Now, how to make it come together in terms of the resources available to you. Outside of that, this might also be a sense of wanting to move towards meaningful transformation, meaningful change, but where is it that you truly feel called to go? It might feel not as clear as you would like. For all that, though, there's energy here of some restriction with Saturn, disappointment with Neptune. There might be a place from which you're trying to access that funding. You're trying to show that you know what it is that you're doing. You're trying to pursue perhaps an entrepreneurial endeavor, for example. And you just feel like there's more to do. There's more to prove. The thing with Saturn squares is delays are not denials. Sometimes there are delays. There's a need to be patient. Sometimes there's a need to be more honest with yourself about what you're really going for and why. But as we move forward, it is going to be on the 22nd and 23rd that the Sun will square Saturn and then square Neptune. On the 24th, Jupiter and the Sun will meet in the sky. Now, normally this would be the luckiest day of the year, but this year, a lot of that luck feels like it's negated, like it calms down in some way, that it isn't as accessible and that it is held back. And then we get to the new moon on the 25th, and that new moon is hand in hand. It's creating this cluster of energy with the new moon, Jupiter, and the Sun all tightly together, all squaring Saturn and Neptune. So you can see here, there might be a sense of a new beginning that you're ready for, that you feel like you're reaching for, and yet there is that acknowledgement of the things you control and the things that you don't. And it might just be previous disappointments that are part of the springboard towards new appreciations, new options, new opportunities that you start to understand. There is a saving grace energy with that new moon, and that is Mars is speaking in harmony with that triple conjunction of the Sun, Jupiter, and the moon. And that is about empowerment. Mars is moving through the top of your sky, having to do with life purpose, success, interviews, auditions, career, life purpose. And this is about feeling very lit up with some goal that you might have, very motivated to align with it that much more. Where it comes to matters of love, I'm going right back to that full moon in your sign, because that is about lighting up and opening your heart. It's about being aware of what you're really wanting, including in the context of romance and love as well. And actually, as you begin the month, right out of the gate, Venus will meet Chiron in a part of the sky that has to do with flirtation and romance. And there might be a flirtation or at least an awareness of love that has you feeling vulnerable, but ultimately can be very healing. And it sets the stage for that full moon energy that's going to have you that much more fully aware of what you really want, what it is that's right on the surface for you, including in the context of love. For those of you open to meeting someone new, your emotions are going to be illuminated in a powerful way, in a way that might feel like a wake-up call, a jolt, especially in the days surrounding the full moon of the 11th. But remember, it is ultimately a journey of self. It's about you and who you are and what it is that you feel ready to feel. You're gathering experiences that help you to be clear, regardless of where things might go with new people you might be connecting with now. For those of you just starting to date someone, I love how this full moon gets you honest about what you really want and whether or not it's here. It gets you honest about what it is that feels like it's going to be that much more fulfilling or not. Now, ultimately, this full moon energy helps you to get honest about whether or not you feel that love is truly here. And for those of you in an established bond, I love this full moon energy for how it helps you to feel supported, how it helps you to feel loved, regardless of what might transpire. But in established bonds, this can be a time of emotional support and genuine joy that you feel that much more. Now, in that very small percent out there, if you felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, this is where there's genuine enthusiasm and excitement for what could be ahead, regardless of what you might decide where it comes to your established relationship. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. Now, eventually, we will love Jupiter. It just doesn't feel like that right out of the gate in the first couple of weeks. There's a lot of hope always placed on the luckiest day of the year. But this year, what it is that is fortunate is actually also what it is that feels like it isn't working out or that feels disappointing. And there are going to be some of us who say, how is this luck? How is that possible? But the thing is that this is what needs to happen so that the universe might create space, so that something more, something better might come rushing in. Now, ultimately, we have beautiful energies with that full moon in your sign that illuminate a sense of your emotional desires. They feel so much more clear, so much more obvious, which means that you're on the pathway towards grasping them and getting them. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.